Hi everyone, good evening, good morning, and welcome wherever you're from in the world. And welcome to my Wednesday live at 5. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lynn, for those that don't already know. I doubt there's many of you, but for those that don't know, thank you for joining us today. So whether you're joining to catch the replay, or whether you're part of the community and you're watching this live, we are very grateful to have you. And today we're going to be talking about a really exciting topic, which I am really excited about. And that is talking about Agentforce and AI and how to continue to learn and adapt in this absolutely ever-changing landscape. No 2 days are the same, are they? So I'm really pleased today to introduce one of our community champions. And today we have Margaret with us, which, as I say, I've been really waiting for this conversation. Margaret brings a truly inspirational and refreshing perspective to the world of tech. With years and years of experience, she openly shares her journey of adapting to major advancements in technology and, proudly represents what it means to be a lifelong learner. And we all know about that. So that's really great. We'll be glad to hear about that. She works in agility technology, where she supports public sector work and also heavily involved in agility frontier gaps. She is an international innovation group focused on exploring and implementing AI technology with a strong focus on our Agentforce. So one of the things that really stands out about you, Margaret, is your passion for helping other people. And, a lot of our community champions sit in this camp. Everyone is so keen to share their knowledge and to help other people to grow. So, Margaret, welcome today. Before we dive in, would you like to give us an introduction, please?
Sure. My name is Margaret Kowalski, and I work at Agility Technologies. I'm a contractor. As you said, we focus mainly on the public sector. I love teaching. I love learning. I love helping others. And I love Agentforce, so I love anything AI. So I'm just very pleased to be here today. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. Can we just make a start? I suppose it'd be good to start at the beginning. Let's start with your journey. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into working with AI and Agentforce?
Sure, absolutely. I really think I think the majority of the past 30 years of my life have been spent as on the forefront as stay-at-home mom.
Oh, I love
A
it.
lot of that, yeah, a lot of that time was spent homeschooling them. They kind of as my homeschooling philosophy, I let them decide when they wanted to attend a grade of school or not. So it
Wow.
wasn't every single year, but so now they're flourishing and they're adults and they're doing their own thing. And one of the things that I stayed fascinated about through work that I did during that time was seeing technology involved. So, I think I really, gosh, this isn't a 5-hour interview, so I better keep it succinct. But yeah, so I think one of the more recent past 20 years kind of experiences working as an online moderator, for example, and then that ultimately grew to working as in like community management and that kind of thing. And the whole time as I was, existing and enjoying this technology, I was just fascinated by how does it work. So fast forward, my kids are finally, off doing their own thing. I'm like, okay, now it's time for me. And I decide I want to focus on, IT as a graduate degree. And I started taking a little bit of everything. And I started taking things like machine learning and deep learning and neural language networks and all that kind of thing. And I'm like, Yes, this is the thing. I was absolutely fascinated by it. And this was, I think, did I graduate like 2022? So it wasn't long ago that I finished that, and I I just can't say how uh, crazy it is how fast everything has changed. So like my senior project was, or my graduate project was analyzing chromatography with machine learning,
Wow.
and I just thought that was like the coolest thing ever, and I felt so advanced. And it's like, 5-year-olds can do that now. So it's just, to anybody feeling that fear of missing out, it's an hour can go by and you're already out of date. So don't even worry about it. Just learn and enjoy and be happy. So that's, I guess that's as succinct as I could get about my journey, is just kind of like the thing I love to stress, and I know people have better examples than me, is that I when I did my first like term paper in high school, just to give an example, I had to physically go to a library. I had to physically look through a card catalog, and I had to look through books and try and find the right information and take photocopies of it or write down note cards and then build that paper and beg my mother to help me type it so I could get it turned in time. Like, and now where we are, I can just be like, hey, ChatGPT, this is my topic, and here is my research documentation. Help me. What's a good intro? Or help me focus this, or critique my paper for me. It's crazy, like how the difference, and I'm very excited about it all.
Absolutely. And I think I'm totally with you on that. I mean, reinventing yourself is one thing, but staying relevant and staying up to date. And I'm totally with you. I have no idea how I ran my life up to this point without ChatGPT. I mean, it's so easy, isn't it? Just to save something as a markdown file, put it in a project and absolutely run with it and just keep referring back to the project. I love ChatGPT. Anyway, we'll talk all day. But,
Yes.
can I just say then, you've been really open about your experience and adapting to new technology. What has that journey been like for you?
Like in terms of emotionally, or like what?
Yeah, let's go with emotionally. Absolutely.
Sure. I mean, I think at first, because it was mostly hobby oriented or part-time work oriented or school oriented, the risks were very low,
Mhm.
so it was mostly fueled by curiosity. But then fast forward to where it's, my kind of 9 to 5 career now, it's my main focus. There's so much fear, especially when I graduated. I already knew by that point I wanted to be involved in like Salesforce native type technology, just because I felt like that was going to be one of the best ways to prepare an organization or company or whatever, to prepare that data for use with AI. So I was like, yes, Salesforce is what I want to focus on. And even then, like I remember, I know how frightening that can be. It's like, okay, so you know what a field is, you know what an object is, but then taking that and applying that into the reality, like going from studying a concept to applying that and listening to your team members talk about it, and then the context of how like the client might talk about it. It's just, it's one thing I have gotten very comfortable with is just not knowing. And now I think that is the best thing. So it's, you kind of push through that fear. I think that's kind of been the biggest journey, is facing that fear of ignorance or not understanding, and then pushing through it and getting to the point, and it's like, I don't know the answer. And yes, I built this entire app last week, and I'm going to have to look up my own documentation to tell you what it does, because I don't remember either. Nobody has this memorized. I mean, if they do, that's great, good for you. But anytime I write an Apex class, I mean, there's just syntax that I'm always going to have to look up, and it's understanding that that is okay. That, so that has been, I guess, the main internal journey for me, is from, oh, this is fun and curious, to, oh, this is scary and the stakes are high and I don't know what's going to happen to me if I'm not the smartest person in the room, to, oh, okay, you know what? This is what I know. This is what I don't know. This is what I can do about it by such and such a time. So that's just kind of where I am. And my heart goes out to people who are just beginning that journey. And I just want to hold them and be like, don't be afraid. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. This is a Tuesday. You're all right.
I think, again, I think that's so right. I mean, I think from your side, it's so nice to hear that you started with no pressure, really, because it was a hobby. So it's something you enjoyed doing. And then knowledge is power, isn't it? Because the more you learn, the more you put into practice. And you can actually then, like you say, make it your 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's nice to hear somebody. And I think the thing to think about from anyone's perspective is a lot of people do, as you just said, feel intimidated by AI. What would you say would be, what would you say to someone who feels a bit intimidated, that feels like it's too late or it's too hard to learn something different? What would you say to that?
Kind of two things. A, it's too late for everybody. But B, really just go into it with curiosity, and just like a sense of, I don't know, exploration. It's kind of what I tell clients when I'm trying to help them adjust to something, put them in a safe environment. So let's say, ChatGPT is a good example. If one of the things I like to tell people is, Google how to open up a ChatGPT account, or contact me, I'll help you do it. And just talk to it. And then talk to it about something that you are really, really, really comfortable with, whether it's first grade math, or crocheting, or anything like that you are very solidly confident about, and just have a really in-depth conversation with AI about that topic, whether it's, Claude or ChatGPT or whatever you use, and really start to understand its limitations. See where it hallucinates, see where it can and can't be trusted. Oh, and that is one of the first things I tell everybody is never, ever, 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 under any circumstances, trust the AI with something critical. Do not trust. And I use it almost every day for everything, but you've got to have that boundary. You've got to have that. So yes, A, don't trust it, but B, enjoy it and explore it, and start with something you're very familiar with, so you can start to really get a grasp of how it hallucinates, the mistakes that it makes, and the way it talks. Especially when you have very long conversations in one chat, you can really see kind of how it starts to diverge, or even go deeper into the topic. And then choose a topic that you know absolutely nothing about, and that you may or may not have official documentation to check, and just have that conversation with the AI about a topic that you want to learn about, and then just take it with that grain of salt, that proverbial grain of salt, and say, okay, I don't know if this is completely true. And it's, to me, it's very much an internal process, is learning what you personally can, and what value you can and cannot get from it. It's going to be different for every person in every situation. And then what are the risks? It's like, if I want AI to write an Apex class for me, that's a high risk. If I want it to prepare, come up with a new recipe for a snack for me with the 5 ingredients I've left in my fridge, that's pretty low risk, I mean, depending on how hungry you are, but it's like you've got to decide at what cutoff point. So yeah, and for me, I always have that kind of backup plan, is like, if I do anything that's high risk, I make sure that there are people, within my team who I know are better at that thing than me. And I'm like, this is what I did. And I'm monologuing here, but it's like, I'm be very open about what you use AI about. I'm like, well, I built this Apex class. and this is what I know, this is what I'm not sure of. Please, I'll go to my senior developer and I'll say, hey, this is what I wrote. I used, ChatGPT or Claude or whatever to write this. This is what it's supposed to do. And they'll read through it and, have comments or whatever. And then one more thing, another thing I do, if it's something that's high stakes, before I even send it off to like the human expert, is I'll have two AI like check each other. So I might initially build, I'll initially build the concept like with one AI and then transfer it over to another AI and say, hey, I built this. Please critique it and check for problems. And it's really interesting. The things will go back and forth. So that's my advice to people is just dive in and have a sense of curiosity in a very low stakes environment, and you will be surprised how much you can learn by doing that. So.
And I think as well, you mentioned about your fridge. I mean, I often think about ChatGPT as like a sandwich. The ChatGPT is in the middle. You have to make sure that the prompt, the one slice of the bread, the starting point is correct. To get out what you want, and then you obviously need to edit, you need to check it. So it's almost like you don't just get AI from nowhere. Unless the prompt is exactly right, you'll get the wrong answer, and then when you do get the answer, you need to make sure it's the right answer. So I'm totally with you on that. I think it's really important to make sure that everything is correct around the actual ChatGPT that you get out of it, the AI, if you like.
To know enough that if you start with a sandwich, that you're ending with a sandwich, not a casserole. And if you can't tell the difference between a sandwich and a casserole, do not trust what's coming out of AI.
Who knew this was going to be a cooking program? Anyway, so in terms of you yourself, do you want to tell us a little bit more about what's happening in Agility Frontier Labs and how you are exploring Agentforce?
Yeah, so I was so excited when Senthil and Ganjit, they own the company, and they I think it was over a year ago, they kind of gave a company mandate. They're like, everybody, we want you to get your Salesforce AI certification, the Agentforce, I forget what it's called. They keep changing the names of the certifications. And they wanted us all to have the Agentforce, what is it, the champion legend, whatever that whole trailhead is on that. So and as someone who is already enthusiastic about AI, I was like very excited because in technology you kind of have two groups of people right now: the ones that are very anti-AI, they don't want anything to do with it, and the ones that are just like very pro-AI, and maybe some in between, but I don't think anyway. So they recently started Agility Frontier Labs, and they pulled a bunch of us who are just super enthusiastic about this, and they built kind of an internal team, and we would meet several times a week, and it was kind of like, it's like a think tank, and we all had different projects and use cases, and it felt very safe. It was very low risk. Because what we were building isn't something being implemented. It was like, how many tokens will this type of prompt cost? So, I mean, one of the biggest issues in technology right now is not whether people are going to be using AI with Salesforce, for example. It's how efficient is it going to be and how much is it going to cost? Yeah, and so that is one of our main focuses, is like, honestly, anybody building a prompt or an agent is kind of a dime a dozen at this point. But, can you make a 2,000 token prompt into a 200 token prompt? How do you really? So, and it because it's a sense of exploration, and we all just kind of share regularly our problems, our hangups, the glitches, the things that aren't working. It's just really expediting our knowledge, and it's, I just feel like that's one of the best ways to learn. It's almost like a mock work environment, and I highly recommend that. Is just, it's really, because you can, for example, you can read about how to build a prompt in Prompt Builder for Salesforce. Yeah. And then you can maybe do it in your own org and just, kind of test it out or follow a trailhead. But, when you're working with a team of other people, even though you don't have a client on the end of it and it's not high risk, it just takes you to that next level because we're demoing what we're practicing, and we're, so there is that kind of a little bit of internal pressure to be able to talk about what you're building and explain it. And then, so that's just kind of what we're doing. And I have just found that to be so incredibly beneficial because it's just really increased all of our comfort level with prompt builder. It's like, because I don't know if you've ever dug into it, or the agent builder. It's like some of that stuff is a little glitchy, and they're also, Salesforce is changing it so often, and it's just kind of like, having that practice multiple times a week has just really accelerated the learning process. So I'm just so thankful that they support that kind of learning and that they put this team together. It's been a very happy work environment. So that's what I say to people is, explore as an individual, but try and also explore as a team where you have some kind of accountability, but you're not putting like your clients at risk, for example. So that's what I love about the labs, Agility Frontier Labs. Super excited about what we're doing, what we're working on, and how we're all growing technology, technically. And it's been a fantastic experience.
It's oozing through the screen, your excitement, I absolutely love your passion. I think it's so refreshing and so inspirational as well. So in terms of, from your perspective, I suppose, what makes Agentforce exciting or different?
Well, from my line of work, the fact that it's Salesforce native is huge. So, a major pain point, I think, regardless of what industry people work in, is integration. And so the fact that Agentforce is a Salesforce native thing, it's one less thing that we have to worry about with integration. And it doesn't matter how good you are with building, integrations or integrating third-party things into Salesforce. So to me, that is just huge. It takes probably one of the, I don't know, it's just my opinion, but I think the integration is one of the biggest pain points at all steps, from, the getting the user story that for something that may involve that, to developing for that. It's I don't know, it's just very powerful to be able to have that within something that's Salesforce, because your kind of your expertise has a window into how it works, and maybe your developer or architect, they will know kind of more, for example, like how to use custom metadata to implement things for flows or for your agent or for your prompt. But maybe your business analyst, well, just getting sidetracked here with this, but
that's fine.
I forgot the original question. What were we talking about? I started thinking about work, and I'm like,
I think I said from memory. I think I said something like, "What makes Agentforce different?" I think.
Yes, thank you. I started work panicking. I'm like, okay, so integration's like really stressful. So anyway, so it makes it, so it just, it's just, so it's native, first of all. And then depending on what sector you're in, just the fact that it has some kind of, I guess it's like FedRAMP, for example, in the US. That is like really important in working in certain sectors, that this needs to be approved for use in certain environments. And so the fact that it is already useful for that, because some of you all are so lucky with the things that you can use with Salesforce, like in Salesforce Inspector or Workbench or those types of things. Like, a lot of people can't even use those tools with Salesforce. And so to have something that like Agentforce and all of its things be within Salesforce and Salesforce native, to me is huge. It's like very exciting. And so I'm very thankful for that.
Thank you. And what
Yeah.
practical tips would you give any of our audience today wanting to get hands-on with AI? What would you say would be some practical tips?
Every day that I look at this stuff, I panic a little bit, and so I can only imagine I can only imagine somebody who's just completely brand new, how you must be feeling. So I just want to reassure you, um, I don't think there's anybody who doesn't feel that sense of drowning, you know. So that's normal. Just be at peace with it, and just I'm so sorry, okay. Um, be at peace with that feeling of confusion, that feeling of not knowing everything. We've way past that. No, I don't think anybody's gonna get to that point with AI. So just approach it from a sense of curiosity every day, just a little bit, explore just a little bit, whether it's something in Trailhead, something, there's all kinds of communities and information that gather resources and kind of have sort of a daily update on, oh, here's what's new in AI, for example. Just be around it, be have exposure to it, and have some form, even though, for example, working in Claude or ChatGPT is quite different from how you would work in a Salesforce org building an agent. There is a lot of use for being involved in that on a personal level for your own purposes, and getting comfortable with that is probably one of the best things that you can do. So two things. Number one, just that fear is very real. It's normal. It doesn't matter. You're not going to learn it all anyway. You already weren't before AI even became a thing. Like, it's just too much. It's just too much. And two, just have a sense of exploration and curiosity, because what makes you unique as a human being, well, you will see things and you will see potential in whatever you're using, like whether it's, Claude or ChatGPT or whatever. Let your uniqueness drive your own curiosity. Don't try and follow somebody else's. Like what I'm fascinated about might just make you feel shut down, or you don't want to look into that. So find out what keeps you curious and keep looking. And when you feel afraid, or when you feel angry, or concerned, because we all know there's a lot of problems with the implementation of AI right now. It's huge, it's overwhelming, it's very concerning. um don't ignore those things. Don't ignore your fear. Don't ignore the negatives. Just meet them head on, be solution oriented, and learn and explore with a sense of curiosity and the uniqueness that you are. So that's my advice. That's my advice to them.
Love that. And I think the uniqueness is actually hits the nail on the head in terms of, you know, when people say about losing jobs, it's more about changing jobs, isn't it? Because,
Yes.
it's working together with AI. I mean, like I say, I run my life on AI these days. So, and for those that are watching that haven't embraced it yet, absolutely get involved, because you cannot believe how much time and energy, whilst you, as I say, you have to use the sandwich method, if you like. You had that here first. I don't suppose anyone else has ever called it that, but anyway, I think
It's like an onion.
you just peel it off. Yeah, we know all that. But so in terms of thinking about mindset shifts, when we talk about that, is there anything that has helped you stay adaptable, in this fast-moving space?
I just think I watch a lot of Star Trek. So
That's
I'm
different. I
I'm
wasn't
already
expecting
I'm
that.
I'm already a nerd. I'm just super optimistic. Some might even say naive. I really I really have, for no reason at all, very high hopes for humanity and the world at large. So I know a lot of people don't come from that frame of mind, which is good. We need the skeptics, and we need all of those things. So um I think failing that, it's just a sense of curiosity, and if you're somebody who sees, you know, whether it's the negative side or the upside, I guess the only frame of mind I would caution against is thinking that using AI will deteriorate your brain cells or stop you from thinking.
I think
I
it's
could
the other
probably,
way.
it is absolutely the other way.
Yeah.
Just yeah, that's the only thing. My experience with it is that I have grown intellectually since using AI. If I, you know, when I was homeschooling my kids, this was before AI was even a thing. If I could go do it all over again, I would absolutely use it. I would absolutely, I think it absolutely has a place in schools. Just to briefly mention my own personal kind of journey is that I didn't learn until I was an adult how much I struggled with auditory communication. So like
Okay.
if, and you know, in high school, that's how most of our education was delivered, was through, you know, the teacher would lecture the class and, um, you know, I would be desperately trying to take notes and all that kind of thing. And I feel like AI really can potentially level the playing field for all types of learners. If a student just if they don't take in information well through hearing, the AI can help them by breaking it down in text. If the student doesn't just learn well reading, AI can vocalize it, read it to them.
Yeah.
If they need to try things in order to understand something, they can utilize AI to, which is what I do a lot. I'm like, okay, we're going to role play as a Salesforce org, and um, I can like test this, you know, act as if you are a dashboard, you know, it's, you can try things in an AI environment, you know, or have it walk you through step by step so that you can, so anyway, so I think that is the one frame of mind I would caution against, is the assumption that AI will deteriorate human learning. I just, it's a personal belief, but I very strongly, just my experience is the exact opposite. And, you know, to those who are focused on the problems and the pain points of AI, um, use that. I mean, that your criticism is important. It is an important part of how is this going to grow to solve those problems? How can we reduce how much power AI is using? How can we so that is my recommendation, is approach it with a sense of curiosity. Keep keep what is unique to you. Don't silence your inner concerns. And this is, you know, coming from somebody like who's just a Star Trek nerd and who really believes that, oh, one day we're going to have this utopian environment and everybody's going to be happy and we're all going to hold hands and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's my advice. Be curious, be yourself, and learn.
Love it. Love it. And I think, you know, as you say, I think it's just important to, I mean, as we've said, just to stay curious, to keep relevant. Lifelong learning, every day is a school day, we all know that. So I think it's just so important. And you know, I suppose, I mean, I could talk to you genuinely all day, Margaret. There's so many questions I've got, but obviously, as part of our community champions, we're in the Slack group, so I will be absolutely asking you the questions.
Yay.
But if anyone else wants to ask any questions to Margaret, then I will drop into the chat. Margaret's LinkedIn is probably the best one, so you can DM her and ask her any questions on there. That's probably the easiest way, I would say. But just to wrap up for today, would you or could you give one final word of advice to anyone that wants to build up their confidence in tech, or they're taking their first steps into AI and Agentforce?
I have been kind of a personal thing, is it really starts with self-abandonment. Don't do that. It's hard. Um, it's hard. I'm definitely someone who likes to look toward others for validation. And I've had to learn in my own personal journey is that, you know, don't abandon yourself. Be that believe in yourself, take time for yourself. And if you've got a lot of that internal dialogue beating yourself up, you've got to do something about that. So start with that. And then the next thing is don't, to whatever extent that you can afford to do so, do not settle in environments where you do not feel safe to learn or grow. And whatever that looks like and however long it takes, whether it's a community environment where you're taking classes, if it's personal environment, if it's a work environment. So A, don't self-abandon, and B, don't settle for those environments where you're not flourishing. Just don't. And that, I think that is my advice. All those things come along. It's just like, oh, I'm learning a Salesforce field or an object. And it's like, no, you're transforming your entire inner being to just face it, face those fears, and don't be afraid to move on. Whatever it is you think you've done or what you deserve, don't do that. Don't self-abandon. You can do better, you can be better, you can have better. So that's my final advice. And that all leads to, having enough internal space to learn all this crazy technology stuff.
Thank you. And do you know what? Genuinely, from Super Mums, we absolutely thank you for everything you're doing to help everyone learn and grow. I love having these conversations. Every Wednesday live at 5, we will be having a different community champion. But today, Margaret, you've been absolutely inspirational. Thank you so much for sharing your story, your experience and your insights. So from me, thank you very much for joining today. Did you want to say anything else before we leave, Margaret?
Yeah, just thank you to Super Moms. It has been 100% just part of this my spine, I guess, my internal spine that has helped me feel like, I don't know, it's an amazing community, and I'm so happy to finally have the opportunity to give back to it. So very thankful for Super Moms. Anybody watching this, please get involved. And I'm happy to answer any questions from anybody. Thank you for having me and for doing what you all do. I really, really appreciate it.
And we really appreciate you. And you might have wished you didn't say that, because I will be badgering you, asking you questions now.
I love helping.
I know you do. Absolutely. Thank you so much again for everyone that's joined today. I'm sure that you found today's session really, really inspirational. Next Wednesday, I'll see you again live at 5, and have a great week. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. There you go.